Welcome to Easy Email Marketing. I'm your host, Yael Keown, mum, FIFO wife, MBA, coffee lover, survivor superfan, and creator of the email experience. In Easy Email Marketing, you'll benefit from my nearly 20 years experience, where I'll be teaching you all the tips, tricks, and insider info on how to create feel-good, non-spammy experiences for your subscribers. Let's get stuck in. Welcome back to the Easy Email Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Yael Keown, and today I'm getting on my soapbox a little bit and talking about something that really gets on my nerves in the email marketing industry and the online business industry as a whole. The promise that this one email or that email marketing will solve everything. So I want to start today by asking you something. How many email swipe files do you have saved on your desktop or in your downloads folder right now? Or in some folder labeled email ideas or marketing stuff? How many custom GPTs have you used or signed up for or played with? And how many courses have you bought that promised to fix your email marketing, but then they only spoke about copy? And maybe they included a little bit about a welcome automation as well, but focused about what words you put in that. And second to that, how many of those emails have you used and hit send on? So you thought, oh, that was really good. I'm going to try that. And what results did you get? If you have ever spent a Saturday afternoon poring over all those swipe files, picking one, adapting it, sending it, and watching it get only like 2 clicks, then this one is for you. If you think that you just need to be more consistent with those emails, yet you still see the same results after 2 months of those Saturday afternoons disappearing, this episode is for you. And if you've ever downloaded a swipe file, customized it, sent it, and got absolute crickets, this episode is for you, because it doesn't seem to matter what you do. You just get those flat open rates, and those sales are definitely not coming. Yet you hear that same advice repeating in your head over and over again that all the online marketing gurus say, the money is in your list. So somewhere in the back of your mind, you begin to wonder if the problem is you. Maybe it's your offer. Maybe it's your lead magnet. Maybe it's just your personality. Maybe you just aren't a good writer. But you know what? You see a new Facebook ad come up for another magical set of emails, another shortcut, and maybe the one you had before wasn't the right one, but this one is. So the cycle continues and the results stay the same. There is one very, very simple reason why. You keep being sold the easy solution. I mean, I get it. We all want that quick win. I so wish I could just give you the magical words and that you put that into email marketing software and all the engagement comes in, all the sales come in, and that money is definitely in that list. And I do, in all transparency, teach the strategy of the quick win, giving people the shiny object, what you want as that starter thing at the beginning of their your email journey, because that's what people want. People want that quick, easy solution. But unfortunately, when it comes to email marketing, writing better is not the answer. There's a whole part of email marketing, in fact, a lot of parts of email marketing that almost nobody teaches. And today I want to dig in a little bit and explain what that is and why it's important. So to help explain this, let's paint another picture of a Saturday afternoon. So a few weeks ago, my daughter said to me out of the blue, can we plant some flowers today? We didn't have plans, so instantly I was just like, yes, mum win. I was in the back of my mind thinking about, oh, this is amazing. They're not just asking for more roadblocks. They want to do something outside. They want to do something together, collaborative, creative. Yes. So, of course, off we went to Bunnings, picked out some beautiful flowers, even some extra potting mix, headed home, and we planted them. The kids, of course, they gave up about halfway through, but we still got them in the garden and it looked beautiful for about a week. Then things started dying. I have this very, very sad, beautiful was sunflower-like plant, and it's just kind of tilted to the side with all these wilted flowers on there, and just nothing is happening. So for those gardeners out there, and I do like to count myself as one of them, but yet I still make these mistakes, what advice would you give me? Would you tell me to just go back to Bunnings and choose another pretty flower to replace it? And then again in a few weeks, and then again in a few weeks after that? Or maybe you would say, oh, don't be so rushed about it next time. Let's look at some of the other factors involved. So it's the same with email marketing, exactly the same. The copy, the writing, the swipe files, they are the beautiful flowers. They're the things we want, they're what we see on the outside and we think that's all there is to it. And sure, we could just keep sending out pretty emails for the sake of being consistent and for the sake of trying to do what we're told to do, for the sake of trying to get that money to appear from the list. But that's not a strategy. That's not sustainable, and that's not going to get you the ultimate results that you want. It will not last. So if email marketing isn't email writing, then what exactly is it? So I went, in my nerdy way and had a look at the formal definitions. So MailChimp talks about it being email marketing as the use of email to promote products or services as well as incentivize customer loyalty. Campaign Monitor talks about it as email marketing is a form of digital marketing that uses email to deliver marketing messages to a list of subscribers. Very vague. And if I did an AI overview in Google AI, it says email marketing is a digital marketing strategy that involves sending commercial messages, promotions, or educational content to a targeted list of subscribers. Businesses use it to attract new customers, build brand awareness, and foster long-term loyalty. So out of those definitions, I don't know if you've noticed, none of them say the word writing or copy in there. It says messages, but that's as close as it gets. Instead, it talks about promotions, awareness, targeting, all strategy. There's strategic approaches with email being the medium through which you do it. So to me, though, email marketing comes down to one kind of overarching theme: sending the right messages to the right people at the right time. But how you do that, well, that is where all that strategy and tech stuff comes in. The stuff that's not quite as sexy as the pretty flowers. And after working with hundreds of clients, seeing the back end of dozens of systems, and having worked in this industry and with email marketing for over 20 years, I pretty much narrowed it down to 7 key drivers that will help you get your email engagement. So what are they? What are the areas that we might want to look at? Now, first, a disclaimer. Just because I'm going to introduce you to 7 drivers, that does not mean that you need to do everything all at once. This is all about thinking, where's the gap for me and what do I need to fill? So let's put on our problem-solving hats and let's dig back in to that garden analogy to talk about those drivers, hopefully in a way that you can understand, because I have spoken about these before. This isn't new, but it is something that sometimes is difficult to comprehend, and hopefully I can make it that little bit more interesting. So let's dig in, forgiving my pun about gardening. And of course, let's start with the soil. So if your soil is not so much soil, but just sand and clay, then you're not going to have much success. So it's the same with email. If your deliverability foundations, that tech stuff, like your domain authentications, are no good, then your email marketing will not work because your emails will just go to spam. So I did a full episode all about deliverability a few episodes ago, so I don't want to repeat that content here. So check that out if you're like, I wonder if that's me. But in a nutshell, you won't get any opens, you won't get any clicks, and you certainly won't get any sales from emails that your subscribers don't even see. Now let's talk about pretty, or your design. So when picking out flowers for your garden, are you picking them because they looked the prettiest? Or did you pick out the flowers that will survive where you put them? Your email design is the same. You need to focus on function before form, always. If someone cannot read your email because you didn't make it responsive to mobile, or because it takes too long to load, or that it doesn't work in dark mode, or it isn't accessible to those who need things like screen readers, then it does not matter how pretty your email is, because again, they will not see it. Similarly, if the purpose of your email is to get those sales, or to get someone to reply, or to click to read something, then those calls to action need to be obvious, clear, and understood within that 9 seconds average that people look at emails for. 9 seconds. So, does not matter how beautiful a graphic you make in Canva, if someone can't read it, there is no point sending it. And this is a big temptation as well with those words. It doesn't matter how many words you have on a page. If you don't format them correctly, if you don't make them scannable, don't make them readable, again, those 9 seconds will not count. Next up is your content strategy. And this is the one that definitely leads the closest to words and messaging. I am an advocate, certainly, of strategic copy and talking to your audience in a way that they understand. But you need to have a plan. We can just throw words out there. We can come up with a great story and send that out. But why are you sending that email in the first place? What do you want? What are your goals? What do you want your subscribers to do? And conversely, what are you working with now? Have you investigated where your audience is at? What type of soil do you have? And what do you need to add to it to get them ready to flourish? Do you know who your ideal clients are and what they want? And do you know from a just practical industry point of view, like what emails are working now, like with all this AI stuff going on? So just chucking in a few plants willy-nilly is not a strategy for success. Just like sending a few swipe files emails aren't. You need to think about why you are sending those emails, and every single email should have a purpose. And I'm sorry, but if you just grabbed a swipe file, you're letting that swipe file determine the purpose, not yourself, and not your business, and not what your audience actually needs. So they're the 3 key foundational drivers. They're the things that you do kind of on the day you plant, so things you're setting up. So we're talking about your deliverability, your design, and your content strategy. The next 2 drivers that I talk about are now where you start to do some more practical things to get more opens and clicks, and also sales conversions. So these are the specific things you do to help create that engagement and those sales. This is your watering and your feeding, giving your audience what they need at any particular time and season, keeping up those good habits, reminding them they exist, repeating those same messages again and again, and making it really easy to convert. And don't forget, of course, the weeding. We've got that. We need to think about removing those subscribers who are just not doing anything. Not only does this impact your deliverability and your sender reputation, which circles back to all of that, but of course, if you remove subscribers who are just not opening because they are never opening because they're just not interested, then your open rates, of course, they lift up. Your conversion rates, of course, they lift up. And you're talking to the right people. And then finally, the last 2 drivers are your more advanced ones, automation and segmenting. And yes, you could do things in your garden like automating like your reticulation with timers and even some of those water measures that tell you how much water is needed at a certain stage. But really, it comes down to identifying what is needed at any particular time. So if you've had a run of hot days, okay, maybe they need more water. If it's rained a lot and they're getting drowned out, maybe less so. And while in the garden, this takes manual intervention. These behavior-triggered emails can be automated. Someone views a page on your website. Oh, they're interested. Well, how can we follow up with that? Or someone's purchased something. How can we follow up? How can we support that? How can we just make it easy so we don't need to do all of that manual stuff? And for the last driver, segmenting, well, if I was really to stretch this out, and I'm committed to this bit now, I'm really committed to this garden analogy. So I was really meant to stretch it. We could expand this to think about our full garden rather than the single garden bed. So some plants will thrive in some areas of the garden and with particular messages and particular watering schedules and fertilizers and things, and some will work in other areas, and we do different things to those different garden beds based around what they need. And you know what? There were some plants that will just never work in your garden due to the climate or the soil or whatever. The idea is you treat people differently. With email marketing, you do not need to send the same email to everybody on your list. Instead, you can target it and make the best conditions for that subscriber, that particular segment, to help them convert. Okay, you know what? That's enough garden talk for one day. But I did just want to hopefully use this to help open your eyes to see what you've been missing all of this time. The part that you haven't been told, that's why that new $9 for 365 days of emails will not magically solve your email engagement problem. Not unless you've done the work and looked underneath the surface at what really makes a difference. So I'll be clear here. I'm not anti using custom GPTs or anti even using swipe files or anti copywriting courses. What I am anti is the promise that these will solve all of your problems. They are the surface level. They are what will work if you, one, understand what are the right messages you need to be sending. So out of all of those swipe files, what is it that you need to be talking about and what is it that you want your subscribers to do? But also that people will see those messages in the first place and understand them and take action on them, and that you are coming at it with an attitude of nurture and support and reinforcing the same messages over and over again, and it's all got a strategy behind it. Plus, of course, automating as much as we can because we have got lives to live. So those 7 drivers, I'll just recap here now just so it's all in one place, because you might be a little bit like, oh, what were they? So number 1 is conversion-focused email design. Number 2 is strategic content creation. 3 is spam-proof deliverability. 4 are your open and click boosters. 5 are your sales conversion strategies. 6 are your essential email automations. And 7 are your personalization and segmenting strategies. Lots of things, but the key thing, as I mentioned at the top of this episode, is that you just need to focus on 1 or 2 at a time. And just remember that email writing is not email marketing. But it is not your fault that you've been led to believe that it is. Because after all, everyone just tries to ram that down your throat and give you that quick win solution because, let's be honest, that's what's easiest to sell. And I won't be naive and sit here thinking that this podcast episode has you chomping at the bit to buy my Engaging Emails program, which shows you how to do all this. It's just not that sexy quick fix thing. Although, side note, some of them are very quick fixes. But, sometimes it's like trying to get you excited about compost. It's the rare person who does get excited about it. I'm one who does. I know there are a few people in my audience who love this techie stuff, that love setting it up, that love the strategy, but that's not most of us. But it is what works. If you want to stop wasting your Saturdays drafting those emails that nobody reads and instead build a system that gets that engagement, that gets that sales and starts going some way to fulfilling that promise of the money being in your list. So hopefully the question now for you has shifted. So hopefully you are removing some of those self-doubts and thinking, oh, why can't I write better emails? And instead, maybe you are getting curious and thinking, oh, which of those 7 drivers are the ones that is broken in my setup? Or what's the biggest gap for me right now and how can I fix it? That's much more solvable and much more something you can do about that will actually see results than just going and getting that next email drafted. If you want to know more about all of this, I have a free training for you called Beyond Words. It's only 24 minutes, so a quick mini training where I take you through these 7 drivers in more detail, what they do, and how to start identifying which ones are missing. Because as you know, not everyone has the same gap. Service providers' email setup breaks differently to an e-commerce stores. You've got different things going on. But once you see where your gap is, you can stop wasting your time and start trying to fix the right thing. So you can grab that now at yaelkeown.com/beyond and continue this thought process, and hopefully you start to get some of those answers that you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to hear from you about what you've enjoyed from this episode or what you want to know more about in future episodes. Let me know over on Instagram. I'm at yaelkeown, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Easy Email Marketing. It's an absolute honour that you chose to listen. If you love this episode, then it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review so that others can find this podcast and make their email marketing easy too. Finally, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss a thing. Until next time, have an awesome day and make sure to keep showing up and serving in those inboxes.